I've really, since I've turned pro, I've done quite a few clinics. When we were over in Asia, when the tour was over in Asia, I did several, and they were a lot of fun. A lot of junior clubs. There's some interpreting going on, which made it a little interesting. But since then, I've probably done one almost every other tournament. So, yeah, it's kind of my cup of tea. I like being in a big group and, talking to kids, showing them, kind of hopefully get them interested in golf. And then also, it's a lot of fun, for adults to try to help them or teach them something new.
Well, as many of these as you've done, do you still get questions from the kids sometimes that take you by surprise?
Well, some are extremely insightful questions that I don't even think about. There's things that, just I've either come naturally or I was never really put any thought into. And so when those questions are asked, I have to step back and, put some thought into it and try to answer it the best I can.
Can you think of an example off the top of your head? Or?
Well, a lot of times I'll get, why do you think about this before you hit, or what do you think about? And a lot of times I don't even think about, I don't have a swing thought, or I just hit the golf ball and I don't put much thought into my swing when I'm playing. So trying to then relay that message and to actually put it into words almost can be a bit of a challenge, so I have to think about it.
So you've been on the tour for a little over a year now, and so how would you kind of summarize the first go around?
It's been good. It's a lot more travel than I thought it would be, on the road all the time, living out of a suitcase. But besides that, it's been a lot of fun. I've been to Thailand, Singapore, Jamaica, all over the world. So it's been a great experience, and also I've made some good friends on tour and learning the golf courses and the areas. So it's been a great learning experience.
I watched a little bit of the U.S. Open last weekend. Obviously, it's a tough weekend for you. And I was wondering while I was watching this, do they trick up the course for the U.S. Open the way they do on the men's side?
This U.S. Open was the hardest U.S. Open they've ever had for the ladies. The scores were actually a lot lower than everyone predicted. People were thinking 10 over was going to win, just because that's how hard they had made the golf course. The rough was pretty thick, but what made it really difficult were the greens. They were the fastest greens we've ever played.
I know, it looked like you were putting on glass.
It really was. I mean, there were a few times where girls are putting it off and they're having to chip back up, and that was just almost normal. And also, the fairways were pretty narrow, and the rough wasn't that thick for a U.S. Open, but there were so many bunkers. The bunkers were so deep they had to punch out. You couldn't go for the green. So it made a really tough 18 holes.
Was that the first time you played Oakmont?
It was the first time I played Oakmont, yes.
How do you deal with the ups and downs during the season? Because you just had the match play where you came back and you won that first match, and then you missed the cut at the Open. How do you deal with that?
Well, kind of the highs are really high and the lows are really low. You have just that's part of being a professional athlete. You almost have to, though, treat it that it's a job. It was a bad day at the office, basically, and then you had a really good day at the office. So, I played really well, and then don't play well every week. So, maybe next week at the British Open and Evian Masters in Europe, it'll be a completely different story. So, you never know.
Now that you're on the tour full time, where does your game need to go? Are you happy with where you're at, or are there things you're looking at that you need to improve on?
Oh, there are always things I need to improve on. A lot has to do with short game. Right now I'm not hitting as well as I'd like off the tee, and that has a lot to do with it. I mean, it's hard to make birdies out of the rough, and it's hard to make pars out of the rough on tour. So, that's something I'm always needing to work on. And but I'm hitting the ball really solid, so that's great. I know it's right there.
Coming back to Fort Wayne and playing, or doing an event like this today, you talked about how you like to work with kids, but talk about coming back to Fort Wayne.
Oh, it's great. I haven't been to McMillan, I think, in probably 15 years. And so it's been a really long time. I remember junior events. We were driving past, and I said, I remember playing here, and just being back in my hometown with all my family, and having my great-grandpa here, and my grandparents, and my family. It's just a lot of fun, and it makes it really special.
So are you living the dream?
I'm getting there, yes. I mean, it's nice having a professional sport being your career. And so, there's definitely, it's not as glamorous as it looks, but it's been a lot of fun.